So, hello again, everybody, to Ljomandi Heilsuviska number 4. And today I want to talk about þekking, heilsa og gleði, which is what we are putting on our placards, our posters for this year's heilsumeðvitaðar poster. So you have already heard about how I healed my hypothyroid, my skjaldkirtli, by using the methods we have in the school and also my þreyta. But I wanted to tell you a little bit more details about some of the other results we have gotten, and these were just the ones I could remember right off the top of my head, and maybe also the ones that were rather dramatic. I know that everybody who has come into the school, they have gotten rid of most of their problems throughout the 3 years, and they have gotten off the medication, and if they haven't completely healed themselves, at least the symptoms are way, way, way less strong than they used to be. So these are some of the results we have seen where people with vefjagikt, fibromyalgia, they have gotten to the point where it doesn't really bother them anymore. And I would say as long as they follow what they have learned in school. And fibromyalgia is a tricky condition, and it seems to be increasing in numbers. You know, it's more and more in its younger and younger people, which I think is really sad. But if you adapt the lifestyle from the school, definitely you'll see a lot of improvements. And we have had several students coming into the school now over the years with vefjagikt, with fibromyalgia, and they have all gotten so much better. And in fact, one of our graduates, who is also a nurse, she decided to completely devote her knowledge and her time to helping women with vefjagikt. We have also had people who came in very depressed. Now we're going to the more mental aspect of it, the mental emotional. And they were in antidepressants, and they have been able to get off their antidepressant medication and really get to a place where they feel wonderful about themselves and their lives. We have had people come in with arthritis, with a gicht in Icelandic. And if you go on YouTube, there's one of our students telling her story about how when she came into the school, she wasn't able to sit cross-legged or hardly walk upstairs anymore. And just after maybe a year and a half in the school, all those symptoms were gone, and she could easily sit cross-legged and walk up the mountains, and she does all that without any problems now. Then I mentioned my own hypothyroid, my own skjaldkirtli, and I know several other students which, you know, along with the vefjagikt and the þunglyndi, the depression, and the þreyta. Those 4 things are things we see over and over and over again. So also the skjaldkirtli. And I know several students, they have also gotten very, very, very strong improvements on that. Then we have a student with, who had endometriosis, and several years ago she was told by her doctor that she would never, ever, ever be able to have more children. Until one day, when she was 2.5 years through the school, she found herself pregnant. And that was something that should have been impossible, but due to all the good work she had done throughout the school, years of cleaning her body and giving her good nutrition and working on her emotional issues, her whole body chemistry changed, and the body was able to heal itself just without her really focusing on this particular symptom or this particular health condition. By returning to correct living, the body was able to heal itself. And she's now a happy mother again. And then we have people on heart medication that have gotten off it, you know, blood pressure medication. There's all kind of things. These were just the ones I had on top of my mind. So what all these students have in common that they got so dramatic results was that they had Lilja, my partner in the school, and me to guide them through that, you know, to create an integrated natural medicine program for them, and based on who they are and in the whole life context, as we talked about before. And that actually leads me into health truth number 12, which is that we need somebody who knows more than us. Let's get an expert for right now to help us find out what's best for us. So I believe I mentioned this before, but we have had several students or people wanting to come into the school because they have tried to improve their health on their own, and they have given up because they're so confused, and they get, you know, there's always new information. So they come to the school specifically for that purpose of working on their own health, and I think that's wonderful. I'm very happy to be a school that makes it possible for people to come and heal themselves. Also in that aspect, we have also had people who have come just for the personal transformation, and then we have had people come for just because their heart told them to. There was such a strong calling from the school that this was the right place, and they trusted it, and they came, and they blossomed and ended up an amazing place at the end of these 3 years. So the truth is, very often when we try ourselves, we end up giving up, or we go back and forth, you know, picking this, picking that. One of the things I have learned over the years is that it actually pays to invest in expert help. And Lilia was the first expert to help me with my health. You know, God, it's almost 12 years ago. 12 years ago, she was the expert who helped me. And now we have become experts to help others. So if you look some more into this thinking, the knowledge part of the school, I would love to give you just an overview of what we are teaching, because we take such a broad approach to health. You know, I mentioned before that health is not just what you eat, but it's so much more. And here I have divided a little bit up so you can maybe get a better overview of it. So, empathy or naturlækningar or heilsumeðvitaðar. Of course, we cover all the food and all the healing diets. Then we teach about the herbs. We focus on the Icelandic herbs because the Icelandic nature has some really wonderful, strongly healing herbs. We teach the essential oil. The innkjarnolju, we teach blómadropa, and that's flower remedies. And I teach a class also that's called himnesk fótasæla, which can be translated to heavenly blissful feet. And that's really what it is. It's a way of connecting through touch. So it's not massage, it's not nude, it's not svæðinut, it's not reflexology, but it comes about how to connect so deeply with somebody else that the healing happens automatically. And it also becomes about, it's a class on learning how to receive. Because you probably know from yourself that you are way better at giving than receiving. And part of becoming a healthy, balanced adult person is actually learning to receive also. So this is also what this class is. So here I have in the heilsumeðvitaðar, which is sort of more where we go into the body-mind thing, is the meðvirkni. It's a codependence. The meðvirkni is about how having a broken relationship with yourself leads to having difficulties in relationship with other people. So the meðvirkni is low self-esteem, not knowing who you are, what you want, having difficulty saying no, always putting other people first, wanting to suppress your emotions, letting yourself be manipulated or controlled by other, or vice versa, manipulating and controlling other people, feeling like a victim, feeling helpless and powerless, having issues around spirituality. You know, what is your relationship with God? Is it, do you have faith in God, or do you make other people into God? It's about addictions, all kind of addictions, the signs of codependency, even if it's being addicted to, you know, coffee and sugar and alcohol and all these things. But you can be addicted to worrying, you can be addicted to analyzing, you can be addicted to crossword puzzles, you can be addicted to horseback ridings. The thing about addictions is not what you do, but why you do it that makes it an addiction. And I teach all about that. And the last part of the medvirkning, the codependence, is having difficulties in intimate relationships. Then there's also a class on the chakras, the orkustöðvar. And this is the one class that is sort of halfway through the study where everybody changed. And I have several times seen people change so dramatically from this class that next time I meet them 2 months later I feel I have to get to know this person all over again because they've changed so dramatically. And the one thing I really believe in is that the strongest learning, learning something so that it really, really, really stays with you, comes when you experience it. So this class on the chakras is really about experiencing what happens when you power up your chakras. That is like mind-blowing and a lot of fun. Then we have a class of the body-mind connection where we look into the science behind it, and then we use then we go into the emotional healing. So I teach several methods of emotional healing for those who want to take it forward. And of course, we learn it by doing it on each other. So this is a wonderful class. And then at the end, we go away for a 1-week retreat to Solheima, which is an eco-village in southern Iceland. And for 1 week, we live what we have learned. And I gotta tell you, it is absolutely pure bliss. And then the last part we have is uppgrading, our eye analysis, and that's our way to look into what's happening in your body. So I mentioned last time the iridology, the lífsstíl, the sclerology, the hvítugreinning, and I don't believe I talked so much about the personality iridology, but you can also get insights into people's personality just by looking at their irises. So when you put all of this together, you get something really, really, really powerful, like I mentioned before when I was going through all these results. And you feel it when you're in the school. You totally, totally feel it. So let's look a little bit more into this in a real-life example. And I have been, the way we do it in the school is like we give everybody a 3-month health program, every new student. And I'm just picking out a few things to give you a little bit more information of how you create an integrated program and how you put it all together. So when you look at the eye analysis, it's just a nice picture here. And in the text, you know, we address directly, we give advice directly to each person. And what we notice here is that this new student, she really wants to change, but also that she's really hard on herself. And that's really interesting because you can actually see a tendency in her eyes for negative thinking. So this is something we bring up because that is something that's very, very, very much in front of her. She's very aware of it, and we want to help her because she's really struggling in this part of her life. This is just one of the things we can see in the eyes. Most of it is physical, but this, you know, I wanted to pick this out because what you see in the eyes goes beyond the mere physical. So in this particular person, when we talk about the food, this particular student has an allergy towards all the nightshade family. So we advise her to take it out. But at the same time, we advise her to really work with the digestion and create a good what is it called, the digestive flora, so that she becomes less sensitive to her allergies. Because the stronger your digestive system is, the digestive system is really a big part of the immune system, so the stronger your digestive system is, the less sensitive you are to what you eat. So when you really work on strengthening your digestive system, yes, you will still be allergic, but it won't hit you so hard. Now, this woman, I believe her eyes also showed the sign of candida. So we wanted to put her on a candida program to get rid of the candida. And of course, it takes a lot of self-discipline to change your food. And everybody who does it. Some people struggle more with it than others, but everybody who does it, they completely feel the dramatic effect it has on their well-being in general. But what they love is the amount of energy it gives them. So we don't ask our students to be perfect. You know, in fact, it's forbidden to be perfect in our school. We just want to be human beings. But what happens, which we observe over these 3 years, which is beautiful, is that, you know, Christmas comes along and birthdays and Easter, where you kind of go into sort of more celebrational food. And as the years pass in the school, our students prefer to do more and more, just stay with their regular healthy food and not go into the more traditional celebrational food around Christmas and Easter and other occasions. And by the end of these 3 years, it is just normal for them to have a very, very, very healthy diet, and they don't even think about it anymore. I remember talking to one of our past students. She just realized that she is still, now 3 years and we finished the school, she is still doing about 80% raw food with green smoothies and nut smoothies and tons of all these good things she learned back then. Doing the cleanses, working with the oils, like everything, it's become so much part of you, and you want to return to it because you feel so good doing it. So with this woman here, we told her in the first month she needed to focus on choosing alkalinizing food, which is a theme that we have for all 3 months. We say you can eat some good fish. Normally we prefer to go 100% vegan, because that tends to be a stronger healing diet, but we are not demanding that people go strictly on that for the all 3 years. And then in the second month we want her to add some minerals, and then the third month we want her to add some sauerkraut to really help her digestive system. If you look at the herbs, what we are working with in the school is some very special blends that were made just for the school by our herbalist teacher, Brigitte Mars, who is one of the top herbalists in the United States. And she is a wonderful, wonderful person. She has the warmest heart, and she has this ability to take everything about herbs and make it common sense and totally down to earth, and just weave it together with everything mental and emotional and spiritual, and bring in the food and how to eat the wild foods. And it's just such an amazing experience to be in her class. So what we focus on first, when we look at the herbs, is that in the first months we ask everybody to work on your digestive system. You gotta get your digestive system working. And you find very few health problems that don't also have a digestive problems related to it. And here we use the Icelandic ristilkvata, ristilorku from Sunnanvindur that are manufactured in Iceland, and we have had awesome results from those. The second month we focus on strengthening the eliminative channels. If the eliminative channels do not work in your body, if they're under functioning, then no matter how good food you're eating, how much good things you're doing, if you cannot detox at the same time, get rid of the waste, get rid of the bad things, kind of almost a wasted effort. I won't say it's a wasted effort, but it becomes much harder for your body to take advantage of the good nutrition and use it to heal itself. So in the second month, we typically focus on the liver, the kidney. Here it has the stomach, but typically the liver, the kidney, might be again the digestive system. It could be the lymphatic system. And the third month, then we go into herbal blends that are, and when I give the name here, it's like specific herbal blends made for each organ or system in the body. So in this third month, when we have worked with the digestive system and the elimination, now the body is ready to really focus on taking advantage of all the good stuff and healing itself. So now here we go in and focuses on things that are more, I would say, more addressing the actual symptoms that that particular student has. Even in second months, we choose individually. You know, we look at the symptoms, we look at the life history, and we look at the eyes and choose which eliminative channels need strengthening. And then in the third month, we get more specific with this person's health history. And then we also like to add herbal teas. So in the first month here, we have a digestive tea, which really helps to reinforce the intake of the aristal herbs. And then we add nettle, and I can't remember what this one is called in English. Anyway, I believe it's for the kidney. And then the second and third months, we repeat the nettle and this good rice tea, which I still can't remember, and acai tea. Acai tea is a very strong healing tea that was created by a Canadian nurse to heal cancer patients. And she had a fantastic success rate, and it's still being produced, and it's available on the internet. So we use that also. So this is just how you can put together a program of looking at the whole picture and then planning ahead and putting them to, you know, thinking through and using common sense, you know, how do we need to use the herbs to get the most effect. So there's a lot of thought going into it, there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of studying of each student, and it sounds like a lot of hard work, and in some way, well, it's time consuming, but it's also a really, really pleasurable kind of work to do this. And I love teaching it. We both do. Let's go down here. Then we also use the essential oils. And for this particular student, we suggested the peppermint and the digest from the Young Living Essential Oils Company. It's the Young Living oils are the only ones we use in the school. They're the only ones we consider pure enough and therapeutic enough and strong enough to really get good results. So peppermint and digest, they are both digestive oils. So remember, her digestive system has come up several times throughout these lives. The second month, we suggest an oil blend that's called Melrose and Acidophilus to help work on her candida problem. In the third month, the inner defense blends and the Melrose to strengthen her immune system. The inner defense is for strengthening the immune system, and the Melrose again is to continue the candida treatment. But we also, the Young Living Essential Oils Company, they also have some fantastic blends for the mental, emotional, spiritual issues going on. And it was one of those I used to heal my hypothyroid. So this particular student here, I really wanted her to stop spacing out and get much more grounded. So the present time and the grounding blending are really for just being right here and right now and just focusing, okay, this is my life right now. The valor is for giving courage, and the trauma life is for healing several of the emotional traumas that has been going on in her life. You know, pretty much everybody needs trauma life at one point or another. And then I really wanted to encourage her to leave the old behind and start creating a new life for herself. So for the 3rd month, I chose transformation. Then we look at the flower remedies, which is blómadrópa in Icelandic, and these are again special blends made for Heilsumeðvitaðar by Kristbjörg Kristmundsdóttir, who is the creator of the Icelandic flower essences. And at the moment, they're only available for the students and for the graduates in the school. They're not available anywhere else, but I hope that will come soon. We're still testing them now for the 3rd year. So grounding, again, I'm addressing the mental, emotional, psychological issues with the student from a different perspective. So you might ask yourself, what's the difference between the essential oils and the blómadrópa? You know, I'm giving them for the same issue. Kristbjörg and I, we were talking together at one point, discussing what is the difference between them, and we kind of had a epiphany on how to understand them as we were talking together. We helped each other. So the essential oils, they are more physical because they're working with the molecules that are pressed out of the plants. So the essential oils that work from a 3-dimensional level, reaching up into the higher dimensions. The flower remedies, the blómadrópa, they do it vice versa. They come from a higher dimensions and reach down into the 3 dimensions of our day-to-day life here on Earth. So I like to combine them because they address the issue from 2 different directions. And again here, the 3rd month, I really want to strengthen her so that she can begin to create a new life for herself. And remember, she also had a tendency to negative thinking. So again, I want to support her in coming out of that. And, you know, there was several choices, but at this time, I felt that the empowerment was the most appropriate one. So what we have here is a testimonial from one of our students. And if I translate it to English, it's I started in school to learn more about herbs and holistic treatments. The transformation that I experienced was unbelievable. I'm completely different than I used to be. In a way, I don't even recognize myself after these 3 years. I'm lighter, I'm less codependent, I'm much freer. My personal growth is awesome. I have much more peace inside of me. I'm more satisfied and content, and I am full of love. Honestly, isn't that a wonderful testimonial? I mean, hearing our students say that, it is it makes me feel so blessed to have this school and to be able to share it with so many. So if you're going to looking at another thing we suggest the students, I haven't talked so much about this in this lecture series, but we also really do like to work with just more old-fashioned naturopathic treatments. And I mentioned, some Baxter and some poultices, some hot cold water treatments. So in this particular case, we wanted to check her thyroid. And there's a way of doing it where you just take your temperature every morning, and if after a series of several mornings it tends to be lower than average, then it could very well be that your thyroid is underfunctioning. So you have a vandvirkskjálkirtl, and I just need to take a sip of water, so excuse me for a second. So the laxeroljebakstur, which is castor oil pack in English, we do it for 1 week, one time a month. It's like 1 week every month. One treatment is in 1 week, because it's it's a fantastic help for the digestive system, and it's just beautiful treatment for yourself to really relax. To do the dry skin brushing every day to stimulate the lymphatic system, which is an eliminative system, and also to cleanse the skin, because the skin is also an eliminative organ. It releases toxins. And then we suggest that you do the emotional healing in the first 2 months to start getting some of that work done. And in the 3rd month, we suggest a raindrop treatment. So the raindrop treatment is a beautiful form of using the essential oils to heal somebody else. And it's called raindrop because you drip the oils from down onto your client's or your person's spine, and then you do feathering strokes. So this and it's just really amazing what can happen. Typically, just after one treatment, you actually get taller. So when the students learn this in school, Lilja is teaching it, they measure the height before and after, and there can be as much as 3 to 5 centimeters difference in height just before and after treatment. It's really kind of interesting. This raindrop treatment was created by the founder of the Young Living Essential Oils, Gary Young, and he took an ancient Tibetan healing form and combined it with a healing method that the Native Americans of North America did to balance the energies, and he combined those two with the oils and created his very own raindrop technique, and it's very well loved around the world by now. So you may ask, why are we asking our students to do all these things? Well, it's very nice for them that they get to heal themselves, but why do we want to do it? We have an ulterior motive, if you can call it so. And it goes like this. But before I tell you this, whom are you most likely to trust? If you wanted to go and get help from somebody, are you most likely to trust somebody who has gone the road before you, or somebody who has only theoretical knowledge? Most people will choose to put more trust in somebody who has actually gone the road before you. And this is a very big part of what the school is. If you look at our 3rd markmið here, our 3rd aim of the school is to make every single student a perfect living example of everything we teach in the school. Now, I use the word perfect, but I know nobody's perfect. But we believe that our students can spread the goodness of the school and teachings of the school if they are living examples. So they have done it all. They know it all in the body. They know how powerful it all is, and therefore they have a different enthusiasm, and there's a different truth in their voice when they're sharing these things, meaning people are much more likely to do it also because they're talking to somebody who knows on their own body that it really works. And I think this is one of the greatest inspirations we can give to other people, is we have done it ourselves. Now, what we also, of course, want to do is we want to give a very solid education in natural medicine and holistic treatments, and we do. And our guest teachers, every single one of them, have expressed how impressed they are with how solid the education of heilsumeðvitaðarskólinn is. They are in awe of it, and they are very honored. They feel honored by, bringing their knowledge to become part of this. So we also want to take all our students on a personal transformational journey so that they grow as people and develop their inner truths and their inner wisdom and their intuition, so that they become more of themselves, if you can put it this way. So those are our three different aims of the heilsumeðvitaðar, and everything we have seen over the years is that we get all of them for every single person. And again, you know, I feel so blessed to be part of such a school. So talking about transformation again, what you get in the school is it's a physical self-healing journey, it's a mental self-healing journey, it's an emotional self-healing journey, and it's a spiritual self-healing journey. And nobody stays the same after these 3 years in school. And when we ask people to talk about what they got out of the school, in a way, yes, they have all the education in natural medicine, but maybe what makes the strongest impact is how much they have grown and transformed. And maybe that's the thing that they really appreciate, because that's so personal. The knowledge is knowledge, you know, things to do when something happens. But this inner transformation is just something you can never really put a monetary value on, because the rewards of that is with you for the rest of your life. So as one of our students said, you know, the heilsumeðvitaðar education is the best investments that I've ever made for myself. And I often say this to people who are interested in coming, but they are kind of a little bit worried about the financial, you know, side of it. Can they afford it? And I said, well, you can't look at it as an expense. It's an investment. And it's an investment in a way better future. Not only for yourself, but for your family and your friends and your children and everybody around you. Even if you never go out and make this your living, it will make such a huge difference in the quality of your life by going to the school for yourself. I want to tell you this because we have had a couple of times, see, we tend to have mostly women in our school, but we have a few guys, but as I say, mostly women. And a couple of our women, they were kind of feeling overwhelmed with the children and the work and the studies, which is very understandable, especially if you have small children. But what turned out that their husband and the children, when the children were bigger, they did not want the student to quit the school. They said, I feel so much better from what you have learned in the school and you bring home, so we want you to continue. And if that is not an endorsement of what we're doing in the school, if that's not a compliment to what we're doing, you know, I don't know how to put it. So, yes, other people want our students to stay in school because they benefit from it. So here's another one. Here's a student who went to the school to get a better health, both mentally and physically. And she feels that she has gotten complete knowledge on how she can heal herself and help herself with everything, whether it's emotional, mental, or physical, with natural treatments. And she is very satisfied with this. So Lily and I, we have a mission. We want to change the world. But we change the world one person at a time. Because when you can really change a person, then they go out and they start affecting other people around them. So it's like each student is like a pebble that we throw into the pond, and then the ring spread and affects everybody around them. And honestly, we would love for you to join us. So I wanted to tell you a little bit that this year we have made it so that the first 10 students with a little condition is they get a gift from us. So it's not just the first 10 students to sign up, but the first 10 students to really commit, to make a financial commitment to the school, they get a gift from us. And this is a gift that has to do with the school. So the gift is a complete set of essential oils for doing the raindrop technique. And this is, and if you read here, you can see the benefits of the raindrop technique. That it's strengthening and cleansing. It heals inflammation and eases pain. It increases the antioxidant, the oxygen in the body, and the oxygen flow to the cells. It releases tension in your back. It strengthens the immune system. It balances your energy. It increases your courage, and it just loosens and balances you on all levels, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So this is a technique that you learn in school, and for practicing this, you will need to buy the kit. But now you have the option, and this will be in the first year, by the way. But now you have the option, if you really want to come into the school and you're committed to doing it, if you move on it soon, you can be one of these 10 people to receive this gift. And I believe there's maybe 5 of them left. So there's so you still have a chance. And I believe the value of it is 27,000, something like that. So it's not a little thing. It's like really a decent thing to get. So coming to an end, I really want to honor your dedication and commitment by being with me to all these 4 sessions. I know I have asked for a lot of your time, but I also hope that you have learned from what I have been talking about. And to put this in a bigger picture is that when you change your lifestyle, it's not only good for you and your family, it's good for the whole beautiful planet Earth that we share. And you inspire and you change the future for everybody here on Earth. So thank you so much for being part of this. I will make sure that the replay is available. And if you have any questions and want any information about all the other things, I will not have time to talk because I cannot possibly cram 3 years education into a 3 hours lecture. So there's a lot of other information. So if there's something you have questions about, and even just practical things about the school, send us an email to hms@heilsumeðvitaðar.com. So thank you so much for being with me.